On camera, steady, no rush, like opening a good conversation. You're wearing a clean polo, decent pair of chinos. Everything fits, nothing's wrong with it. But you walk out the door, and something feels a little off. Like the outfit is fine, but it's not quite landing the way you want it to. You look put together, sure, but not quite like yourself. Not quite like the version of yourself you know you can be. A lot of guys in their 40s and 50s hit that exact wall. The clothes are fine, the grooming is fine, but there's a gap between fine and sharp. And most of the time, that gap comes down to the details. Here's what I've found, and honestly, what a lot of men figure out around this age. The clothes are just the foundation. The accessories are what actually tell people who you are. Today I want to walk through 5 accessories that have a real impact on how a well-dressed man over 45 comes across. Not louder, not fancier, just more considered. More like himself. Let's get into it. Why accessories matter more after 45. Relaxed and direct. One guy talking to another. There's a version of men's style that's all about spending more. Better suit, designer shirt, something with a recognizable name. And look, there's nothing wrong with quality. But that's not really what this is about. Because most men who dress well at this age dress simply. A polo, dark wash jeans, chinos, and a merino sweater. Good basics, well fitted. That's the foundation, and it works. What makes those basics look intentional, what separates the guy who looks like he got dressed from the guy who looks like he made a choice, is usually a small number of well-selected accessories. A watch, a bag, a pair of glasses that actually belong on his face. Simple clothes, the right details. That combination reads as confidence. It reads as a man who knows what he's doing without needing to announce it. Clothes create the foundation. Accessories create the impression. So here are the 5 that I think matter most for men in this space. The ones that consistently show up in the outfits that work. If you're new here, this channel is focused on practical style for men 45 and up. Worth subscribing if that sounds like your kind of thing. Accessory #1, leather strap watch. Natural. Hold the watch if you have one. No demo energy. The watch is probably the most impactful single accessory a man over 45 can wear. And I don't mean that in a flashy sense. A leather strap watch, kept simple, does something that's hard to describe but easy to see. It makes a casual outfit feel settled. Like the person wearing it has somewhere to be and knows how long it'll take to get there. It adds a kind of quiet weight to the whole look. What works well here? A clean dial, not too many subdials, not too sporty. A genuine leather strap in brown or black, and a case size that's actually proportional to your wrist. Slim and understated will always read more refined than big and loud. What doesn't work as well? Chunky sports smartwatches worn with anything other than actual athletic gear. Oversized fashion watches. And those thin metal bracelets that flex when you move your wrist. They just don't hold up visually. The goal here isn't expensive, it's considered. There's a real difference between the two. A leather watch signals discipline and taste, and at this age, that combination speaks for itself. Accessory #2, structured leather bag. Easy contrast, no judgment, just honest observation. This one tends to surprise people because most men don't think of their bag as part of their style. It's just the thing they carry. But the bag is one of the first things that registers when you walk into a room, and it's giving off a signal whether you intended it to or not. A nylon backpack is practical, nothing wrong with it for the right context. But there's a version of that bag that says, "I'm still figuring things out." And it's the same backpack worn into a client meeting or a nice dinner at 48. It's just not the right tool for that moment. A structured leather bag, a slim briefcase, a clean messenger, a minimal leather tote, sends a different message, not louder, just more grounded. It says the person carrying it is intentional about how he shows up. For color, dark brown, chocolate, tan. These work with the neutral palette most men in this space wear, and they get better looking over time. A leather bag with some wear on it has more character than one that still looks like it came out of the box yesterday. You don't need to spend a lot. You need real leather and some structure. The rest takes care of itself. The bag you carry tells people how seriously you take your day. If you're finding this useful, a like goes a long way. It helps the video reach more people who could use it. Accessory #3, acetate glasses. Personal, genuine, not prescriptive. Glasses sit directly on your face. That's about as central as an accessory can get. And a lot of men treat them purely as a corrective device rather than a choice. The right pair of frames does something real for your overall look. They sharpen the face, add some definition, and, when they're the right shape, create an impression of someone who's precise and grounded. The wrong pair can make a perfectly good outfit feel unfinished. For men in their 40s and 50s, acetate frames tend to work better than thin metal. Classic shapes, slightly rectangular, a subtle brow line, a clean wayfarer, in tortoiseshell, dark brown, or black. These read as substantial without being heavy. They look like they belong on a specific face, not like they were picked off a spinner rack. The material makes a difference too. A well-made acetate frame has a presence to it. It holds its shape. It sits evenly. It doesn't flex the first time you put it on. That matters more than people realize when something is on your face all day. What to sidestep? Wire frames that were already feeling dated 10 years ago. Anything too small for your face. And trendy shapes that'll look exactly like a trend in about 18 months. If you wear glasses every day, this is probably the single best investment on this list. No other detail is on your face during every conversation you have. Good glasses frame your authority, quietly and every single day. Accessory #4, quality leather belt. Conversational, like pointing something out a friend might have missed. The belt might be the most overlooked piece on this list. And because of that, it's also one of the easiest places to quietly upgrade your whole look. The belt connects everything, top half, bottom half. It's the seam of the outfit. When it works, you don't notice it, which is exactly right. When it doesn't, it pulls focus in a way that's hard to explain but hard to miss. We've all seen it. Solid shirt, good pants, but the belt is clearly bonded leather that's starting to crack, or the buckle is big and logo heavy. That one thing pulls the whole outfit down a notch. The clothes are trying to do their job, and the belt is quietly undoing it. What actually works? Full grain or genuine leather, not bonded, not synthetic. It makes a visible difference. A slim, clean buckle with no branding. And the color should match the shoes. Brown belt with brown shoes, black belt with black shoes. That pairing sounds simple because it is, but it's the detail that consistently separates a polished look from an almost polished one. Width-wise, somewhere between 1.25 and 1.5 inches is the sweet spot for the kind of smart casual dressing that works well for men in this range. Anything wider starts to belong on a different kind of outfit. Nobody's going to compliment you on your belt, but get it right, and everything else sits better because of it. A quiet belt is a quiet sign of quality, and quality has a way of being felt even when it isn't seen. Accessory #5, minimal sunglasses core. Easy, slightly lighter. This one's fun, let it be. Last one, and this might be the only accessory on the list that changes how you feel before it changes how you look. A clean pair of sunglasses does something interesting to a simple outfit. A polo and chinos is just a polo and chinos until you add the right pair of sunglasses, and suddenly it looks like a decision was made. For men over 45, the frames that hold up best are the ones that have been around long enough to outlast every trend. Aviators, wayfarers, clean rectangular styles. These work across a wide range of face shapes, and they read as timeless rather than of the moment, which is exactly the note you want to hit at this stage. Colors that work well: matte black, tortoise, dark green, or gray lenses. Avoid anything wraparound or heavily sporty. That style pulls in a different direction from the overall look we're talking about. And skip anything with loud branding across the lens or the temple. Frame quality matters here in the same way it does with everyday glasses. A well-constructed pair sits better, stays in place, and just looks more at home on your face. That's the real difference. The right pair of sunglasses at this age isn't about cool. It's about wearing something that fits where you actually are. And that reads simply as a man who's comfortable in his own skin. Sunglasses change how people read your presence, even before you say a word. Which of these 5 do you think makes the biggest difference? Drop it in the comments. I'm genuinely curious where you land on this. The golden rule of TwoPrinciple. Deliberate pace. This is the one most people need to hear before I wrap up. There's one more thing worth saying, and it might be the most important part of all of this. I just walked through 5 accessories. But wearing all 5 at the same time is not the move. In fact, it's kind of the opposite of what we're going for here. The men who consistently look the best at this age tend to wear 2, maybe 3 accessories, and they let each one do its job without competition. Watch and belt, watch and sunglasses, leather bag and glasses. Any of those combinations works on its own. The outfit feels complete because each detail has room to register. Stack too many things at once and something shifts. It stops reading as intentional and starts reading as effortful. Like the accessories are trying to do a job the clothes couldn't do on their own. That's the opposite of what we want. Less isn't a limitation here. It's the actual strategy. The rule 2, maybe 3 accessories at a time. Let each one land. That's what makes the difference between a look that's trying and a look that just is. Refinement comes from restraint. Unhurried, land the philosophy, not a pitch. Here's what I'd want you to take away from all of this. You don't need a new wardrobe. You don't need to overhaul anything. A polo that fits, a pair of dark wash jeans, chinos that sit right. That's a solid foundation, and it's enough. What you're doing with these accessories is giving that foundation something to work with. A leather strap watch that fits your wrist. A structured bag that looks like it's seen some things. Acetate frames that belong on your face. A slim leather belt that lines up with your shoes. A clean pair of sunglasses that doesn't borrow from a different decade. 2 or 3 of these, worn with some intention. And the look is there. No overcomplication, no performance, just a man who has a clear sense of who he is and how he wants to show up. Simple clothes, quality accessories, quiet authority. After 45, dressing well isn't about standing out. It's about being read accurately. As someone grounded, capable, at ease with himself. That's what the right details communicate, not loudly, just clearly. And honestly, that's a better look than anything a logo can give you. If any of this landed for you, I'd love to hear which accessory you think carries the most weight. The watch, the glasses, or the bag. Leave it in the comments. And if you want more of this kind of content, subscribing is the best way to stay in the loop. Either way, appreciate you watching.